Kosa. It's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on to result, which means that Sebastian's guys and Varian heading over to the Memorial. Who is playing on the Hamilton. But going over to Caden Gooley, I wanted to talk about this profile. 6'2", 201, a left-handed guy, as we said. He's already signed. Run for the Wilkins, he had himself 16 points in 19 games played. 8 goals in the 42-game sample he had in the regular season. So he already boosted his goal total. And what we really started to see out of Caden Gooley in this postseason run was just a lot more maturity and development in his game. We did note that he scored a goal in the Game 6 against Seattle to make it 2-0 for the Wilkins. And this was one of the goals that you don't usually... Okay, that's a weird way to say it. I'll say it like this. Gooley doesn't score too many goals. But a lot of goals he does score are like this, where he's at the blue line, the puck comes right to him, he holds onto it for a split second and then snaps it forward. The quick grab and release move from Gooley. He's got a really nice wrister, and there's a lot of velocity behind that shot. He doesn't use it often, but when he does, it usually goes in. So I think maybe as his career goes on, you might see some NHL head coaches say, hey, Caden, start shooting more, because you actually do have a pretty good shooting ability. And it was kind of exemplified here in the postseason with his 8 goals. We also had some more good news about Caden Gooley. He was awarded the Playoffs MVP award. So the Conn Smythe of the WHL was given over to Caden Gooley. He had himself those points for also playing his very reliable shutdown defensive game. It's very nice just noting the two-way capabilities that Caden Gooley has started to exhibit this season in the WHL. That definitely wasn't there to the same capacity in his draft season. It was why a lot of people, myself included, were kind of skeptical upon Caden Gooley and his future in the league. But now, as one of the best players in the entire Goshtown WHL and the best player in the WHL postseason, it definitely is a lot better to see Caden Gooley develop the way that he has. He's still good at bodying guys along the boards. He's still great at shutting down opponents' offensive transitions, and he's got a really good mind for playing defense. His skating has improved as well, so he's a lot more nimble on his feet, I feel, compared to before. He's got a long reach, he's got some good offensive instincts as well. He's just a really good all-around player with a solid frame. And he's really started to come to his own as the season has progressed, and that just kind of puts the cherry on top, the fact that he was the playoffs MVP. And I know there's a lot of people going out there and saying, oh, when was the last time another Canadian prospect was named the playoffs MVP for his CHL team? And I think it was Nick Suzuki, if I am remembering things correctly. If it was not Suzuki, then hey, somebody go in the comments and let me know if that is right or wrong. But Caden Gooley, super great. He had an interview on TSN the other day that was 10 minutes long, so I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and listen to what he has to say. He's got a really mature way of talking about things. I kind of get Shea Weber vibes, to be honest, when you listen to this guy talk about his life and talk about hockey and talk about how he's improved over the past few months here or so. Sure, I'm not going to go out there and say that Caden Gooley will be the next Shea Weber, but young Caden Gooley and his answers. Going over on to the goaltender, though, in Sebastian Kosa, the Red Wings prospect over here. As we said, he was taken a year later after Gooley, and it was interesting because Kosa was the first goaltender taken in the 2021 NHL entry draft after Jesper Wallstedt posted up just phenomenal numbers throughout the entire Swedish system ever since the guy was like 16. But Sebastian Kosa went earlier, the Red Wings snagged him up, and he's coming off a season where, admittedly, his numbers were not great comparative to previous years. He had a 913 save percentage in 486 games played, which is somewhat of a step down from his 941 save percentage in 19 games last year and his 921 the year before that. Despite this, though, we actually talked about this in a previous video, but if you go over to the WHL this season and you sort all of the goaltenders by save percentage, Sebastian Kosa was still 4th overall. So even though you had a pretty significant drop in production from this guy, there still were so many other goaltenders that dropped as well. It's more of a league-wide thing, seeing the goals go up and the goaltender stats go down. Year by year, it doesn't look great, but comparative to everybody else, it just kind of makes sense. In the postseason, though, Sebastian Kosa posted up a 919 save percentage and a 193 goals against average in the 19-game sample he had. He also had 5 shutouts, so really good for him to to do that. He had 6 shutouts in the regular season in 46 games, so he almost matched that in half the amount of games in the playoffs. Just goes to show you, firstly, how much he stepped up once the games got important, and secondly, how good the Edmonton Oil Kings were, because that roster was absolutely stacked. Sebastian Costa's Game 6 against Seattle, the championship-winning game, was also pretty notable too. Here's a Reddit comment on the Referee subreddit by Simply Solus that sums it up. Costa only had to face 3 shots in the first period, but he ended up facing 27 shots total and came up big when the team needed it tonight. Seattle went 0 for 6 on the power play, including a bad last-minute penalty of a hand on puck by Edmonton. Then there's an interesting reply here. Oh, the hand on puck was by a Seattle player. And then Edmonton was on the power play with 5 minutes left in the game. And then they discuss further, and they're like, oh, there's actually 2 puck-on-hand penalties that occurred in this game, one by each team towards the end. So it's kind of funny how that works out. WHL kids, eh? Interesting to see how that goes down. But Sebastian Costa still goes out there and steps up big time in this WHL Cup situation. And now, heading over to the Memorial Cup, we'll be seeing both of these players suit up against the other best teams in the CHL. So, if you're a Red Wings fan or a Montreal Canadiens fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Edmonton Oil Kings and what they did to finish off the Seattle Thunderbirds in Game 6 of their WHL Championship Series. If you're watching any of these games, hey, let me know in the comments if that is the case, if you had been paying attention to the playoff run, or if you just kind of started tuning in towards the end like I did.
Went off to the Red Wings. Is it worth it? Will they do it again? I only seen it happen once. First, to the battle. They're sweet. Sour patch. One, favorite pick, they like KQ's defenseman. Olgren, I think your defense, maybe Dozer. Let's do some fun. Let's go Matthew Ward. Let's not go off last time. Why can't you go off the run? 6-7 against off today. It's actually high rated faster there. Yeah, Henry just went Nelson for 50. Rory there. Mitchell. And Killander, Solomon, Madison, Killander. 77 team will lead at 18. Some made up penalties that wow. Zoltan and Star at 16 actually, wow, he would have been lower. Dermachenko, DP, or the guy more rated. So I understand that's like a 7. Not back towards the spot gets it. I feel like that's okay. Actually having like one of the draft classes and I get feel I was so regular for the round. Now, at this spot, guys, I feel like the next best thing is Kraken goalie. Could be a nice starter. That would be goalie. I think he's probably best value in the 3rd round. And, oh my god, 47 overall, Kyle Lee goalie, end of the 3rd round. Our goalie prospects are insane. Now, we have to get 106 Pelican Flyers to get a 4th round pick. Offense got Blues here, 1961 in the top 9. Now, we're technically probably going to lose this trade. Say yes, because I already know they'll get paid, and there's a whole thing for me, but should still be there. Had a great season so far for the Spitfires, maybe not last year. Should get drafted this year. Not bad here. Love watching play this year. Has a good stock now. That team is the most top 9, which obviously is just guy we've had, but he's a good overall. He's got a fair player of mine. Actually, will get it too, because like I said, such a good year, Edwards developing insane. So if you guys become even like a high-end AHL player, I'll be happy. And our next picture, guys, is 166. So we're just kind of looking for the best available 7-minute league. If you ever hear the league with each other, a couple, how are you going to look to go? Come on. Right defenseman, we can top 6, not 10 in the world. 185, you want to drop back 10 spots, you get another 7 round pick on 2. That would be around 9 contract installment. Yeah, definitely passed on that one. So, the other thing we got for there is center. Come on. Me and Boston. Alright, well, getting up. Let's take another shot the other day. We're taking another shot here. Just take your 14, shot 9, like 3 or 4. And you keep concentrating to play us. I think it's our last pick now. I'm skipping to the back to take this Kate Armstrong goalie. I know you can use the behind him here. First starter, honestly, this late in the seventh, I find out that pick. I'm really getting to see all the players pick in this draft. I think it's quite well, especially the highly goalie in grade 84, like, what a deal. Another re-sign phase, guys, and check this out. Brandon Stelly, that was 90 overall. He threw a ton, 90. He still threw more in the summer. He'll touch the 89. Can we do an extension yet? Okay, no, beginning of next year we'll do that. Alex touching the contract, Olsen I'd like to keep, so qualify. Takes away the next 5 years a bit expensive, but let's tell you guys, we have 40 million cap space, so we have nothing but money. Honestly, I think I'd rather do a great deal, see how he does next season. Those 5.5 in the next 2 years, and after that, like all these guys sign. Bryce is there, you probably get a long-term loan from the team. Yeah, 1.93. It's like 2.3 million. That's pretty good deal. We'll look here at 79, guys growing to like Bruce Lyons, he's going to do like a fourth line for us next year. 910. I don't mind that at all. 3 years, 910. And I'm not some way definitely going back to senior guys, only at 73. For Nemec should actually play our AHL team this year, so we'll do that. Next year, guys, looking at goalies. Craig Anderson there, he overall, he's 41 years old, doesn't want an extension. That's fine. Looks like election, definitely going to resign. 8 years. I know he gets it. He just gets his $6 million right now. I wonder, like, if he does, is this stupid to do like 5.5 right now? I know he's gonna get good. Although I guess only taking $2 million. I guess too, like the money is costing us now is half so hey, I still have extra $81 million. Let's see if he does this big deal right now. Aaron Dell, he's done, Eli Dale, the prospect for Pillow. I put him with Hank in 1847. Full grade about how he potential. Like, we have literally 4 future coach goalies on our roster. Now, speaking of pitching guys, look at the defense. We got Darwin, we got Grayson. I guess you'll be hard to Howard probably getting Dell next year. We need at least 2 more of them. Forward wise, we need like 3 more forwards, but we're going to go 30 million hard to spend on like 5 pitches. Yes, that's fine. And the bigger break here, guys, accepted his offer. Olsen wants more money. The line said yes. Heck, like it, because that's a big term deal. So hopefully, like I said, it works for us. And you know, we'll start keeping Olsen now the 5 years, so I'm going to give him 5.75. He said yes, okay. So you get straight in the future. It should be like a, not better contract. And so big here, guys. You have to be smart with what contract you give out, because we need good young players in the future, more so like veterans. Shots are terrible. Wow. RFA can top 4 first rounders. I'm not going to do that. Give up 10 times already. Same with Kevin Gallup. RJ 31, like slightly too old, I think. He may have his third run. Bill Porter at 27 is actually, if we're competing 4 years, he's only 31. He would still be a good player at that point. He's definitely, some guy to go get. Pro check. I mean, I just rather Porter, I think. Really too old. Like along with Tito RFA at 26. Dale Donato, Tyler Henness to bring back kind of a possible legend. Colin Miller on 5.4. That's what he traded. He actually dropped him rating too. Andrew Pottier as well, 27 years old. Like, solid player, $5 million. Could get Aaron McCullough 29. Like, pleasant goalie. Now, make a look here. 26-year-old Euro defenseman. 1 year left to grow. He has sophomore potential. 3.6 million. He's kind of lost on. He might not be the worst guy to sign. Probably looking at like the other one. 3.5 3. You would get a lot of time to play on our team. It might make them fine with us. Now we got defense. There's really not a lot of options here, so let's try Corey Stetzer. I like him on the wing. He's kind of fast to stay away. 2 years, 2.5. Now goaltender, definitely going to be a starter. Recollection, probably an AHL starter. We play it, doesn't have much money. Or still backup. Flurry we could get, but that would be really like a better team. Now the thing is, I don't want the speculation to start and get destroyed and never grow because of that. So I feel like it makes sense to bring in somebody. Lincoln, usually 1.8. That might kind of be the play. That is somebody to like help us not get destroyed every night. Who's our 27, $4 million? I mean, I feel like it makes more sense to hang in there for half the price or overall less. You know, I don't know, just under $2 million for 2 years. And three two-way goalies, they're looking to be 1, 2, 3, and that's so good. That's justified us making them an offer. Now we get to a tier here. Doing those checks, you'll pay 24.7 team top 6. I don't know, it's on the Rangers, right? I don't know what they're thinking. Definitely kicking their contract. Even with your Anderson here, 24.75. Pairing him up with Lefty, it's more capital investment. He'll play as well. Sometimes he gets me. Wade Allison here, I think I saw a comment. Somebody wanted to sign him. I'm wrong with this player, I apologize. I feel like it was Sam told me that. He's actually pretty solid too. 24 years old, 78 overall, 9.9. Now that we can get, I wouldn't mind signing Forster. Obviously, he's going to make our team a lot better sooner, but James superstar. So 6 years, that's like 33. I'm probably fine with that. Honestly, I'm just going to give him what he's asking. And he said yes, he does, if not, whatever. The Andrew Cobb kind of like the Burns option. We get both. I mean, whatever. I'll give Cobb 85. Pretty good. I'll give Cobb 5.5 out of 5. So, curious to see what happens. Really, the defense is going to be pretty bad because there wasn't a lot of options there. I think we'll probably wait to see if they want to go kind of in a few weeks. We'll make it there.
The most lies in your farm, Owen. You need to see that. There's a whole galaxy out there. I'm asking you. Don't leave us alone there. I mean it. Is he okay?
Nicola there said yes. Okay, I was wondering if even with a button gas. Johansson said yes. Allison wasn't paid as a man. And I was wondering if you guys see Carson Clinton is available. 24.77 Kraken drafted him. Grinder really just hits with that. Everyone says that he wants them on the 4th line. What if we gave him an offer? I don't know, like 1.2 million or something. Whereas the outside was worth it. You know, if you look at the pay. And no pay required 1.3. He's sort of like a 10-19. He's really good 4th liner. And I'm just terrible to sign that. Now, Forster said no. The Islanders want to go see how much he signed for. Costco did say yes. Could draw their X back. So, probably be our 2nd line center, I think. Thomas will win. Wow. Colorado's going to take on deficit and salary for a 2nd and 3rd round pick. I think we have to say yes here. That gives us a lot of money for like a $9 million player from this to afford to be second, going to need 3. Yeah, plus the 82 picks. Thank you to $3 Avalanche. I don't know whether they have the money to do that. But yeah, we had to say yes to that one. September was going to go. The break was in May. Look at that. Forward signed for just over $9 million for 1 year. We could have built Booster with that money if they get the offer. And on this time, Nicholas Springer, guys, like a solid Boston forward. Easy winners, $85 like like a smart defensive player. Well, from 1.75 2 years. It says no, hard to see, no guys coming out. I didn't see Kevin Gallup in free agency. I'm not going to have a first round pick for him, but I would keep going to trade for him as well. We'll make that move. Alright, guys, as you see, the Minnesota Wild draft pass. There's $2 million below the salary cap max because of, buying out a free safety. Although just, to make the buyouts as bad as actually are in their life. So, Kevin Gallup, really good player, season overall, only 25 years old still, coming off a solid season there with that 70 points, 2 X factors. Be a great player to build our team around. Absolutely not too bad, but he's a pretty average player. Deep contract, we got to get for him this season. Also, our 2nd round pick, he has in the draft, and our 3rd round pick. So, it's pretty basically be like scared of Gallup, and we got a 2nd and 3rd Colorado. Not going to trade Arch that game, but really that game, they were just terrible. So, not going to do that. Again, the 1st round pick, you could do it off the team, but I'm hoping that's like kind of garbage. And then the Wild say this one, trade rejected. Okay, what if we do a 2nd rounder 1.4? I feel like Gallup worth it. Trade accepted. Wow, okay, so yeah. Kevin Gallup now in the team, regular contract. So for 7 years he wants 8.7, that's like 32. Doesn't really change ever, eh? Let's try. It's cheaper than 4 years, he's still growing. He's by the central 7.75 to 7. Getting to the triple 7 man. I feel like that's a good number. And then he goes straight with extra offer with the Kraken. Why more of a playoff contender and goes to the Kraken. Gretzky accepts as of now. I wonder if maybe they won't match. Giant shows to match. Okay, so That's all right. Gala rejects the offer, wants a bit more money. And honestly, guys, another thing, let's just play hardball with Gala, wait till the end of the summer, get him cheaper. Worst case, the team comes in, gives him a great offer. We have a cap space in that case, but basically, almost no good. And look at this guy, Tree Bergeron for some reason, still available. 93 overall. We're almost in August. The more signed up, 92 points last year. We sign him and just trade him the deadline, unless we're like looking like a legit like contender, because he would get so much value. I don't really want to do this, but like, I'm waiting till the end of July. Like, I don't know what this is yet to think it. 8.5, he said yes. I think he's probably going to put out a goal thing on good enough team, but he's definitely going to be good enough, but we'll see. And look at that guy, Bergeron, the new long pick for our team. I don't really like my desire. They just can't try to explain the thing. I don't know if all these good guys, a couple others want to make. That year is basically like potentially 8 goals. This year they're 19K. Those are good top six. Those are the offensive stats for really good. And then NHL line, that just felt slightly pretty much available. Overall, he's a good swing player. It's not much different. Sorry, 1.75 this year. Again, defensive awareness and stick check is quick. He just falls off the player for us. Yellow down is done at 5.9. I want it to go way longer. He gets out way more money though. 7.13. Oh my god. For a long-term deal, a lot more money than short-term though is cheaper. So that kind of sucks for us. And we can accept their offer. Also, I skipped by on accident, but like we did too. Oh crap. Okay guys, so Kevin Geller accepted his qualifying offer. I'm not even sure what it was. I guess we'll go find out. Let's give him a new contract at some point. And they get $5 million for one more year. Then he becomes a USA. It kind of sucks for us. Cousins here. He wants $12.5 million already. Yeah, definitely going to wait out that one. I also really like to see that Patrick Captain thing pop up. I think it's pretty good Captain started last year. Like, after this thing, whatever the default was. So I'm trying to think whose team is this. And I feel like either Cousins or Devlin. Thing is, that was like so quiet and whatnot. I feel like this team probably won't be doing Cousins. So I'm giving the seat. Devlin definitely saying A. And Howard is going to be an A too. 2 first overall picks defensive will bring A, but I think it's probably Cousins team. And so some of our next season history got the team looking like, honestly, I don't know how they're going to do it. It's kind of a wild card here. So, got +5 on the first line there. Plus Bergeron, Cousins. Again, my thinking is we'll miss the playoffs, trade Bergeron for some hold the deadline. Second line is pretty solid. Gallagher, Thompson. Third line, Olsen, Millstat, Lexington. We don't honestly even terrible either. George Posto, don't stay at the bottom line. They're actually pretty smart at center. Not only NHL, also NHL. Luckily, our coach got second base up there. And I didn't realize Dozier got crazy physical 5-star there, 90 body check, 95 strength. Defensively, we got Howard down on the top pair, getting a +3. Joe Carvey right in second pair. Nicholas Stetcher's bottom pair, you're -3. But like the guys who want to grow in the top 4 get good captains, so it's kind of like whatever. Like you said, it doesn't change anything. So I thought this was the best solution. Goaltending wise, we have Langton and Legend both need 3. So hopefully True Tandem each start with 14. Legend is golden backup, but it's just ideal for him. That's the elite team. I love the first line. We got the Turcos, Krebs, and Quinn. Then a +1 to finish the law. I just wrote the guitar, second. Steph there, kind of super sick. Olsen. Bruce is like the guy again. Then I got 3 9 job with the line there. Defensively, play Alexis plus to the top there. You'll answer Danielson. Bottom there is probably like our future NHL second there. Ryan Johnson, Simon Emmett. So hopefully they have good defense. Goaltending wise, you got Levi Stark. We're still backing him up now. So honestly, like I'm pretty happy how it's looking. Again, if we get starters next round, our rebuild's going to excel a lot. So we'll see again where this team ends up. This year we're going to have 91 offense, 87 defense, 83 goaltending. So much higher than we were last year, but are we going to put up? I don't think so. Again, you never know what's in, but that's the end of this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, do club right down below. Have a guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Grammarly helps you work more efficiently. With my full sentence rewrite suggestions, so you can say what you need faster. Powered by over 1 billion
of the day video, so there you go. These are the only items for today. Shouldn't be too long of a video. I just get too much of your time for now anyways. As we discuss the topics. That's the line. You know, look it up there. Nope. Shower is only anything ready for 4 hours sauces and alright, that being said, for the time today, we're going to start things off with Brady Point. Brady Point returns right now. 2 questions. One, does he play on his normal line? And if that's true, then does he get his normal ownership? Like, does he play 50 minutes? Does he play ball? Does he get double minutes? Does he play more in the second than in the first than the third? Like, what kind of plan are we looking at here for if he actually finds him go? It's not going to be 100% of the playoffs. So, Brady Point feedback. Could be a game changer for the Tampa Bay Lightning. It means that for Colorado, now the pressure's back on them. Of course, there's the Tampa third street. As yet, the recording is that not confirmed. There's the Tampa has the Terry for Colorado, but I would think he's going to go and definitely back to 100%. He'll be the third. Franco 6-0.
Really?
Tampa is the third goaltender for Colorado, and throw most of the regular season with that goaltender. So, we'll see how that goes tonight. But I'm that's excited for tonight's Stanley Cup final. This is really a matchup between 2 powerhouses, which we haven't had the last two years. Both has Montreal and Dallas. Even as a Dallas fan, I understand that Dallas doesn't quite have the gravitas of the Colorado Avalanche. But still, this is King's kind of type of situation. You know, the ratings being in the U.S. Is having 2 of the best teams in the league. You've got one going to the third straight cup and another one that's the one that's about
Wow, these guys did +5. Okay, cool.
What the ratings are going to but all the best rating points you can turn to win it. All right, next up, I just think after he left Columbus that he ended up back coaching, but here we are. It would appear that the Flyers, according to Daily Faceoff, the Flyers have offered the job. And what's being reported now is that he's meeting with the Flyers to discuss the framework of his contract. And so, once they've gone for a relatively close to the Flyers. And so one thing I'll say about Tortorella is he has mellowed, at least in Columbus, it looked like he mellowed out quite a bit from how he was, say, next hiring and prior to that. And so I think this could work. I think he did well in Columbus in the beginning. And then at the final year, clearly he and the team have decided to listen to now. But yeah, he was motivated, he went to really into it, and when he possibly playing around.
I don't know if I'd like to change my plan right away, though. But he is my. I am building this team around him anyway, so it's like not a big deal, but still.
And with players in Philadelphia, would Tortorella end up wanting gone? And then also with players in Philadelphia might give more ice time than they got under previous coach. Tortorella, I think they'll make up his mind pretty early, but it's going to be interesting to see how that goes with Philadelphia when they're married. Once that comes out, I'll probably go around the neighborhood, film a video. Hey, Kevin Weeks is going on to do that. I didn't actually leave the house. So I just out near the house, and it's like, all right, well, you know, let's take a video here. Not just Kevin Weeks, they break stuff that way. So, yeah, I thought I'd have fun with it. Clearly it worked. Ready to be cast, it worked quite well. All right.
Ready to get a handle on your spending? Start with TV tips from Making It Budget. Learn more spending tips at TV.com/budget.
Hey, next on the board, sports stats. Final draft rankings, you're right. Final draft rankings are coming out a lot of the things, so that's why I'm holding off off on prospect videos. The black book from OffSeason.com is totally guilty. Once that's released and because of the page on the prospect, it automatically goes to the inbox. Always grab that, go through it. There's all the next data you can see in there. So look for a lot of prospect videos once that's run. Info is done. So yeah, but on Sportsnet, coming back to Sportsnet, right? They had Shane Ray number 1, Logan Cooley number 2, and Slafkovsky they got number 3. And again, it could happen that way. Cooley is the center, Slafkovsky is the winger, and that's kind of how that works. Very often the center comes above in the draft, the wingers drop down. And even though we may look back here down the road and say, how did that winger drop? Look and go, okay, so the centers are going instead. Sometimes it's a good move, sometimes not so much. And so we'll see who ends up getting drafted where and by who, because we know that a lot of these draft picks it's like, I think it's very easy to draft one of those last channel here for that. What's the high 7 or 8? 2 last years in the first round, and then the other round in the last year as well. I don't try to find the right draft pick. I only did it last year, I tried the year before it. So, we'll see how the draft ends up shaking out. But yeah, Shane Ray is number 1. It's still the outside chance for me to move it to copy of the page in the number 1 spot. But yeah, it's good to be Shane Ray. Alright, now, getting into, figuring out who's going on. Dylan Gambrell is staying in Ottawa for 1 more year. And he signed a 1-year extension for $950,000. Good box pick forward. Ottawa's thoroughly impressed with his play when he's there. And Ottawa's got very good penalty kills. They've had a very good penalty kills in terms of penalty kills. They always seem to be capable of getting the shorthand records for him. And I know an Ottawa game during the regular season, I was always impressed by the penalty kill. And I thought when they traded out Nick Paul that dangerous penalty kills was probably worse by that. I really didn't pick up Matthew Joseph. Guys like Gambrell, they take up the slack. So we'll see how things go for Gambrell this season. Six forward, and so that's one guy Ottawa doesn't have to worry about next month. Speaking of which, this one's going to be interesting. So Karasov, number 3 in the Columbus organization, signed a 3-year extension for $3.15 million.
Oh, that's a plus 5. Okay, cool.
So the Columbus carries
I'm considering Bill Walton will be the top defensive duo on my AHL team.
And for Columbus, they want to come back into the hunt for the playoffs. They've got some good draft picks in this year's draft. Maybe you pile them together to try to move up. Maybe you take them all and choose to do in the fall and, roll with it. But I think the plan is to improve and maybe push for a playoff spot. And Karasov, I would say, pretty strong numbers for him thus far. And I look at, especially with the case of Corpusalo, if Corpusalo has a start, we'll just bring up Karasov as the winner. Corpusalo as a rock starter. So again, with Columbus, I'll be interested to see what happens because I do think Karasov is going to make that conversation uncomfortable. I expect to have a good training camp and to really make Columbus have to think about what they're going to do with the goaltending if they do intend to push for a playoff spot. Now, River Central. Johnny Gaudreau, there was a rumor that a long-term extension had been reached between Johnny Gaudreau and the Flames. Gaudreau's agent came out yesterday and said, no, that the rumors of an extension are untrue. So there's no extension of Gaudreau yet. In fact, the rumors are out there. It is that time of year. That time of year with a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation. Why I do my best to stay out of it. I'm just here to tell you, yeah, Johnny Gaudreau extension hasn't happened yet. Maybe it won't. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We're going to see the idea that are being discussed today and the upload. Like and subscribe. Video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Talk to you again. Don't lie to me! Don't fight that long after you fuck me back!
Staples Big Print Promise. We'll give you $50 to try Staples Quality Printing Services.
Will this banner attract more customers? Let's find out.
Where small businesses print big. smart with your money. Switch today and get up to $400 when you open a CIBC Smart account.
There's a clock tower in Harrison that makes it a bit of a describe. Try to one of their deeds. I'll take it outside.